Hi. So we're talking about retirement savings here and trying to figure out how much do you need to live on in retirement? Because when you figure out how much you need to live on in retirement, then you can figure out how much do I need to save when I retire. And once you figured that out, you can figure out how much do I need to save each year to meet that goal. So we're kind of starting with the ends in mind, right? Which anytime you're tackling a huge project like retirement or building a house or anything big, you got to start with what do you want the final outcome to be and work your way backwards, right? So you've read a couple articles on retirement savings for the average American. And what I want to introduce y'all to this morning is something called the 4% rule. So this is a rule that kind of an industry standard rule that we would use in uh, financial planning to figure out what an individual's nest egg needs to be when they retire. And the way this rule works is think about how much money you're going to spend in your retirement. Maybe you're used to only spending $40,000 a year, and so you plan on spending just $40,000 a year. Well, based on the 4% rule, we figure out what uh, what $40,000 like that's we figure out that $40,000 is 4% of what amount. And so if you do the math, you'll come up with $1 million. So an individual who's going to live on $40,000 a year will need to save $1 million in order to generate that type of income. Now, 4%, where does that come from? That seems kind of out there, or kind of pulled out of thin air. Well, it comes from the idea of uh, if a properly invested portfolio, properly someone who's properly invested in the market can generate 4% income from that market and not have the value of their portfolio decline. One of the ways that people can do this is simple ways that people can do this is through investing in dividend companies, companies that pay out dividends. And just to give you a simple rule, I went ahead and did a little research and I looked up large companies. So I'm not looking at the smaller companies, these are uh, large area companies. And I looked up which ones have a dividend greater than 4%. So here they are in order. And you can see we have start off ExxonMobil, 8.55%. That's a really good dividend. Um, Altria, they do tobacco, 7.8. AT&T, the company we love to hate, 6.9. Dow Chemical, 6. Chevron, 6. British Petroleum, or BP, 5.8. Philip Morris, another tobacco company, 5.8. China Mobile, 5.7. MetLife Insurance, 4.6. Bayer Medicine, they're famous for aspirin, but they've also branched out and purchased companies like Monsanto, which they may be regretting because that came with a lot of legal problems for them. 4.6. Kraft Heinz. Okay, don't think of Kraft Heinz as just ketchup. They own a lot more than ketchup, but you can see 4.6 rounding up, right? It's consumer staples, which means that pretty much no matter what the economy is doing, people continue to buy these things. And, aspirin, yeah, people continue to buy aspirin from Bayer. Ketchup, condiments, yeah, people continue, mac and cheese, people continue to buy Kraft Heinz products. So consumer staples. ConocoPhillips, 4.4. Royal Bank of Scotland, 4.3. Shell, 4.2. That actually recently dropped because of the financial crisis. They were at 9, but they've dropped it down to 4. Verizon, 4.1. And Pfizer, another medical, that's 4%. Um, so any of these companies, and you could branch out and go with smaller companies that may have dividend. You just have to be careful that these smaller companies can afford to continue with the dividend. The good thing about larger companies, it's not always a guarantee. There are no guarantees in investing or savings for retirement um, when it comes to investing. But the larger the company, the better chances that they'll continue to pay a dividend, right? And again, no guarantees. Just look at Shell. They were earlier this year before COVID at 9-10% dividend, and they've cut it by pretty much half, right? So what you are about to do is figure out how much do you need for retirement. Use the 4% rule. Think about how much money you need to live comfortably the way you want to live in retirement. Is it 40,000, 60, 80, $100,000? You tell me. All right, that's going to be up to y'all. So figure out what your end goal is for retirement, and then work back to figure out how much do you need in retirement to save.